what do you think of when you look at the swoosh?
Nike, Jordan or Nike?
Nike. Yeah.
Nikes.
Jordans?
Nike. Nike symbol.
Nike is a company that we all know and love.
It's a brand that you see everywhere you go, in popular stores such as Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, DSW, and more. Nike even has their own stores that you can find in malls, outlets, and shopping centers worldwide.
It's also not uncommon to see some of your peers rocking some Nike, maybe even some of your favorite celebrities. Nike advertises through various celebrity and professional athlete sponsorships. The biggest Nike sponsor is Michael Jordan as of 2024, earning $60 million annually. Other sponsors following him include Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, Maria Sharapova, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and other smaller celebrities.
If anything, Nike knows how to run a business. Making $100 million per day, it's fitting that over half of the US population wears Nike brand shoes.
Overall, Nike seems pretty great to the public eye, doesn't it? Behind the sponsors, athletic wear, and fame of Nike, corruption lies.
Within the years of Nike, there have been several scandals throughout the corporation, but the one we are focusing on is by far the most severe.
Still, Phil Knight, the first CEO of Nike, was disliked throughout various communities, though the brand was loved. The individuals that knew what was happening behind closed doors had no appreciation for the company and its success. So, what caused such disdain for such a beloved company? What was really going on behind the sponsorships and shoes?
Sweatshops.
Over the years, the CEO of Nike, Phil Knight, John Donahoe, Mark Parker, and Elliot Hill have managed sweatshops in East Asian countries. On January 25th, 1964, Phil Knight was one of the first to manage and establish Nike, along with his partner Bill Bowerman. At the time, they called it Blue Ribbon Sports. It was just like any other small sports store you could think of.
Later, in 1971, Blue Ribbon Sports were facing some financial difficulties. This evidently led to the decision to rebrand Blue Ribbon Sports to Nike Incorporated to better compete with competition.
The rebranding was a big step for Nike Incorporation. Soon, Nike became one of the most popular athletic brands.
Along with the growth of Nike came a need for some quick, inexpensive, and easy labor.
Nike's first sweatshops were established in the 1970s. However, it wasn't until 1991 when these sweatshops were brought to the public's attention, when Jeff Bollinger published a report illustrating their insignificant pay and poor working conditions. So, with that, Nike continued to run like normal. They didn't care about the backlash, but only cared about the income. If they can have cheap labor, they are going to keep cheap labor.
Nike from then to now has barely changed whatsoever. They still face backlash for their series of scandals and continue to do nothing about it. They still don't care about their inhumane actions and view that they have no responsibility for the rights of workers in these foreign sweatshops.
Eastern countries such as, but not limited to, Indonesia, China, and Vietnam. Nobel Peace Prize winner Jose Ramos Horta claims Nike should be treated as enemies. In the same manner, we view armies and governments that perpetrate human rights violations.
His claim is not disputed by the presence of information on the working conditions. According to the University of Michigan, sweatshop workers in Vietnam are illegally forced to work 65 hours per week. Additionally, Le Monde, a French newspaper, reports on the wages of workers when they state, in 2011, an investigation by the Associated Press exposed low wages, 50 cents or 0.48 euros per hour, as well as violence against the 10,000 Indonesian employees of a subcontractor of the company.
In Haiti, people are paid 30 gourds an hour, which is equivalent to 23 US cents. Not enough to educate children or eat, but Nike is still moving their sweatshops to China, where pay is even less.
Nike's success cannot stand without trampling the lives which they are built upon, as it is evident that the money spent to run these operations is not used for wages. But Nike's responsibility to pay livable wages is not the only thing that they tend to ignore.
Chemicals causing liver, kidney, and brain damage are at 177 times the legal limit within Nike's Chinese and Vietnamese sweatshops. 77% of workers suffer respiratory problems, yet most exposed workers are given neither protective gear nor the truth about this simple job.
Reports for Indonesia and Vietnam show that the workers in these conditions commonly faint from exhaustion, heat, fumes, and poor nutrition. Many die without medical attention after collapsing on the job. A typical 20-hour workday factory with 6,000 workers has only one doctor for 2 hours per day. Yet, sweatshop workers are fired immediately if they take sick leave.
Since, according to Nike, having human needs is not up to their standard. Nike's various scandals don't stop at bad conditions and pay. Actually, the list is longer.
Indonesia, 56 women were forced to run in the hot sun for wearing non-regulation shoes, until 12 were hospitalized. Former United Nations representative and now Nike employed Andrew Young stated, "That's the way they do things here. You run around to get your motor started."
Various other sources report an incident in which 15 women were beaten by a supervisor on the head and neck with a Nike shoe for their bad sewing. 2 were hospitalized. In protest of this, 970 workers went on strike. Publicly, Nike CEO Philip Knight is approached by shareholders and claims that only one worker was hit on the arm.
Another article compiled by the University of Michigan mentioned the statement that, after newspaper descriptions of violent sexual molestation, Nike CEO Knight claimed to shareholders that the supervisor was trying to wake up the women and perhaps touched a part that he should not have. Nike allows him to flee prosecution.
Repetitive scandals certainly don't help Nike's hidden reputation, but their evident fame and predominant actions in the advertising and shoe industries certainly can mask these actions.
It's not only sponsored athletes adorned with gear covering the iconic Nike swoosh that earns Nike billions annually. While their 2024 advertisements have cost $4 billion, they heavily contribute to the approximate $50 billion earned in return.
Through its words and promotion, Nike has spent millions on the promotion of social justice. Their effect is evident when spent towards supporting a noble cause, and often Nike's funding does go towards said causes. This includes the Inclusive Community Investment Program, which, as Nike states, it enables us to create more impact in each of the 8 communities we support. Individuals of all abilities, Asian Americans, Middle East, and Pacific Islander communities, the Black community, the Latina community, our military and veteran communities, Native American and Indigenous communities, the LGBTQIA+ community, and girls and women.
Additionally, Nike launched a line dedicated to funding the Even Higher Fund, a charity that utilizes sports as a method in order to uplift underprivileged children.
Nike's global presence is undeniable, but with presence comes a responsibility to consider the various massive impacts resulting from each of Nike's actions.
Moving production overseas only helped feed the rapid growth of Nike. The average manufacturer's suggested retail price of Nike shoes is $110.15.
Running a company as successful as Nike is riddled with opportunity costs, but choosing the maintaining of low costs in order to make more income in America over the equality and human rights that said business supposedly supports, it certainly doesn't reflect well.
The realization of the existence of these sweatshops in East Asian countries had communities enraged. Not only was Nike flat out mistreating workers, they were exploiting the lack of labor laws in foreign countries. Nike's mistreatment of workers has gone unaddressed by the company itself, but it has definitely not gone unnoticed. Various groups have worked towards addressing the foreign actions of companies such as Nike.
One group, United Students Against Sweatshops, forced Nike to begin a slow change to its practices, and while sweatshops have not been completely revoked, Nike has claimed to since improve its conditions and wages. But one thought, if Nike had higher wages over there, then the prices of Nike shoes would be higher in the US.
It is important to note that not only Nike takes part in these practices. While Nike has done wrong, H&M, Adidas, Walmart, Gap, Tesco, Spencer, and too many other stores are among the likes of Nike, who run foreign sweatshops for all the same reasons, and all the same lack of regard for foreign workers' rights.
Nike has done wrong. That much is undeniable, considering their actions in relation to their treatment of foreign workers. But countered by the economic pressures and their positive influence, it is your judgment that determines the future of Nike. United Students Against Sweatshops, Team Sweat, and WRC all work to oppose the cycle of dysfunction that Nike often falls into. By opposing these actions, change can be made, beginning with Nike and ending with the establishment of federal laws within these countries. So, will Nike ever change? We'll just have to wait and see.